在对谈时难免会遭受不合理的对待，除了保持冷静之外，要如何回应才能既保持专业又坚持立场呢？Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. Recently, we came across a post by two self-help authors talking about how to speak up for yourself when you feel that you're being disrespectfully treated, or how to respond when you feel someone is being insulting.
So this mother and daughter writers duo, they've gained a lot of followers on Instagram. 那我觉得他们这次 cover 这个 topic, 我觉得还蛮，对我来讲，我觉得在我们工作的场合当中还蛮实用的，因为有的时候我在教书，那有蛮多学生就会问我说，如果在工作上，比如说在开会接见客户，对方真的是超级不礼貌的时候怎么办？可能连脏话都标出来了，或者东西都丢出来了，我们要怎么回应？尤其我们如果是女生的话，你要怎么去回应像这样子的场景呢？ We're going to teach you guys some phrases, and we're also going to cover a little bit about our opinions on this and how you could adapt these different phrases and sentences.For
super long-time listeners, some of these may feel familiar when we did an episode on customer service, how to deal with unruly clients a few hundred episodes ago. But the first thing that you can say is that I don't think you're meaning to be insulting, but I'm uncomfortable with where this conversation is going.
And just a variation of that, you could also say,I don't want to continue this conversation because I'm not comfortable with how you are speaking to me.
Now, the subtle difference between these two ways of doing it is that second one that Sherry just gave is a very straightforward, I don't like the way you're speaking to me. And if it is very obvious that the person is trying to talk down to you or is trying to be insulting, then just calling them out on that and making them face that this is how it comes across is important. However, with the first one that I gave you, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt that they don't realize what they're doing. So if you feel that maybe it's just their way of speaking or they're not very aware or not great at social cues, then you may just point out like, I don't think you mean to be insulting or I don't think you mean to make me uncomfortable, but what you're saying right now doesn't make me feel good. And bring that to their attention, but without just being like, you're being a jerk.Yeah,
so I think to echo that, when you say, I don't think you're meaning to be insulting, 或许这个人他讲话就是非常的极端，或者是真的是非常的 direct, but 他可能真的不太知道说为什么自己是这样子，或者你之前你也知道说他尝试的想要改变他这个行为 So you kind of know that maybe this person didn't mean to be insulting, but that's just a habit of hers or his. Now, another way you can say is, this way of discussing the issue isn't working for me.
So this is, again, another very straightforward. This type of conversation or the way this is going, it just doesn't work.To
kind of echo what Nick mentioned earlier, with the second sentence, the end of it was, because I'm not comfortable with how you're speaking to me, right? So you mentioned that it's more specific. I wonder if we can just be more specific about what we're uncomfortable with. So there are a couple of things, right? The wordings, tone of voice, maybe someone's yelling, right? Those are very specific things. So do you think we could address those specific things in this kind of response?
I think you should, because back to that earlier point, sometimes people are not aware of it, or if they are aware of it, calling it out makes them feel uncomfortable about doing it. So another statement that this duo brings up that's actually related to this is, I'm not okay with put downs or mean comments that are excused as jokes. It isn't funny. So with this idea, it may be you're calling out someone, the content of what they're saying is funny, but they may think they have like a funny or cute nickname, or they're making a joke that feels insulting. So when you're specific, you can make that point. Be like, I don't really like when you make that kind of joke. This is not funny to me.
And I definitely had those, oh, I'm just joking, you know, I'm just having fun. I definitely had a lot of those back in the days because my name, so I didn't use Sherry all the time. My name in Chinese translated, it's Chiehli, 介利. But Chieh is actually kind of hard to pronounce. People sometimes like to butcher it and they just like call me like a nickname. And they're like, oh, I'm just joking with you. But after like the 20th time, I'm just like, that's not funny anymore. Just call me Sherry, please. Stop butchering my name. So this is where you can use this phrase. Just be like, you know, I'm not really okay with your joke. It's really not that funny.
It's also one of those things where, like, for example, in our own office, we joke around a lot with each other. We have different nicknames, but it's also an environment where we can be more honest, like, oh, I don't like that. So, or don't use that type of joke or that tone of voice. So it really should be, if someone feels comfortable enough to joke, they should also be okay that someone's pushing back on that thing, because that is a truly open environment, not someone's being too serious. So if you're uncomfortable, say something.
And going back to being specific, if this person happens to be yelling at you, then just go, if you start yelling at me, or if you continue to yell at me or call my names, I'm going to leave.
And this is a direct pushback to what we talked about before in customer service, where sometimes you feel if you're in a lower position or it's a customer service situation, like you just have to take it, right? The customer is always right, or I don't want to piss off my boss. But if it's gotten to the point where they're yelling at you and calling you names, that conversation's not going to go well no matter what. So it probably is something you just need to call out and shut down.
So another great way to address this, you could say, let's pause this conversation and come back to it when we've had time to calm down.
This phrase may sound quite cliche because a lot of people teach that or talk about it. And so you may be in a situation where the person's like, I am calm.
Yeah, when someone's really emotional, you just be like, calm down. I don't think that works really well.
No, it never ends well. In this case, I would actually rephrase it to be more about you. I'm really upset about this conversation and I can't think about it straight or rationally. Give me a bit to calm down. If you tell the other person to calm down, or even that phrasing of we should calm down, a lot of times they will argue with you, be like, I am calm. It's fine. We can have this conversation right now. So you may feel it's weird, but you should phrase it around you, because they can't argue. They can't be like, no, you look calm. What do you mean you're not calm? But if you're just like, you know what, I'm really not in a good place to have this discussion. Can we come back to this tomorrow?
And think at the same time, you could also say, you know what, I need a cup of coffee. Just let me go get it and I'll be right back. Maybe that's a very subtle way in saying that I need to get away from you and you need to calm down, but without actually saying that.
So you're not exacerbating the situation by like, you need to calm down. Why are you so angry? Now you get into a whole different set of conversations. So either bring it back to you need to calm down, or again, remove yourself from that situation very subtly. I'm going to get a cup of coffee before we continue this conversation, or I need to use the restroom, and then just walk away and let that situation de-escalate before you go back into it.
Yeah. So another side note I just wanted to say, 我们刚刚讲到就是叫人家 calm down， 通常人家对方只会更生气。Same thing with stop being so emotional, right? 我觉得可能在蛮多比较 stereotypical 的一些工作的场景之下，有时候女生可能开始讲话大声一点，但有些男生就会说 You're so emotional right now. I got called that many times. 但是这个时候呢，当然意思就是说叫人家 calm down 或者跟人家说你太 emotional, 你太情绪化了 It will not bring you good results at all. But again, if you're on the other side, then just take a little break and be like, I'm gonna get coffee. I'll be right back.
Well, we hope that these phrases help a little bit when you're put into this uncomfortable conversation. A few things of, again, call out what you think the other side is doing, bring awareness to it, whether it is intentional or not intentional, or just shut down the conversation.
Yeah.
This is not working for me, walk away, or find a way to walk away, get some coffee. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.